and welcome to the 71st ICC Crack the Wellness Code session. And once again, we are back with happy seniors. So welcome. And once again, very delighted to see this fabulous, participation once again. And it is very clear that this is a session that you all, bring very close to your heart and join us every Monday, fortnight. And my thanks also goes to Sachin Deshmukh, who's the coordinator. So every fortnight, he's working closely with the team and leading and bringing you such wonderful programs. So today is the fourth session of the 10-part series of Senior Happiness, which will of course lead to certification. Later in the program today, we'll talk a little bit about how we are going to go ahead with the certification process, and would like to hear from you, your feedback, and what are some of the learnings that you've had for this session. So today, as you can see on the screen, we have a very refreshing and a very powerful theme for all of you. Okay, the breath of life, pranayama. And that, of course, the master, practitioner, Sachin Deshmukh. So you all know him, but, he has been, he comes in various avatar of, of different aspects of meditation. I mean, he's the guru of transcendental meditation, but then he breaks up all these into so many interesting parts, and each of them have so much of rich offerings, and he's a strong believer of body and soul. And apart from being the coordinator and the leader of the senior program, today he's also the guest speaker. So, he's wearing many, many hats today. So welcome, Sachin. Good to see you and all the wonderful work that you're doing. So this is today's agenda, which is very neat and simple agenda. You can see we have back with us Dan Maggie with his flute. His mellifluous sound always, keeps us, relaxed. We feel that calmness in us, and of course then we have this wonderful breath of life by Sachin today. So over to a wonderful session. This is our 71st session, so which means that a lot of effort, lot of hard work, lot of resources going to this, right? So please do not hesitate to generously donate. It's very simple. Crackthewellnesscode.org is our website. And when you go to the website, you can see a, red colored donate button. Please feel free, whatever you can donate, we appreciate, because it's all for you. And these are all free programs. So somehow we have to make them sustainable, which we will. We have many, many supporters. And I would also like to take this opportunity to thank many of you who have donated and who have been also volunteering with us. So we have a lot of opportunity here for volunteering. And of course, apart from your donation, and also please join us to tell us how you can participate in our wellness movement journey. So finally, we'll get into the details, but before anything else, we have Dan with us. He's going to start his, performance with us first. And before I move to Dan, welcome to you, Dan. I just wanted to show this, customary disclaimer and liability waiver slide. You have seen this before, but we just want to make sure that what it means, and the fact that we're a third-party platform. We are always there to offer education, awareness, inspire you, but at the same time, do not consider us to be a direct healthcare provider, which we are not. But we can certainly help you doing all those connections. But take this program as something that you can really inspire you, educate you. And then of course, we have also programs like the Wellness Support Group, which is for empowerment. So having said that, over to you, Dan, and we are just waiting to hear your breathtaking music, and after your breathtaking music, we are all going to breathe with Sachin. So sit back and relax. Over to you, Dan. Yeah. Dan, I don't know what to say. Only thing I can say, it's so hard to tell you to stop.
Ah, thank you.
So, today there is something different that we are going to do. I'm going to introduce the guest speaker because usually the guest speaker is introduced by, Dr. Sachin Deshmukh, which is going to be different this time. So let me straight away go and tell you, you all know him, but, to be, formally, as you know, that, he has, Sachin has uh, been in this practicing mode for more than 17 years just with the seniors. And then how many years as a whole, I don't know. He started this as a child. So let him say that when he starts. But I mean, he's a physician. He's a physician in his own right. Okay. And not just a physician, he's a brilliant person because he has always held top positions. And then he decided to come to United States. Okay. But when he came with his own ancestry following, which is like absolutely unique. Okay. But then coming to the United States, he still followed the traditions, and there was hardly any impurity in terms of his uh, in a course of action, the path that he followed. He always stuck to transcendental meditation, and he always explains very clearly what is transcendental meditation. And there are a lot of followers, particularly from the Maharishi school and similar institutions, and how it is different from just concentration, focus, and what is also very popularly known as mindfulness. So and he has done that very scientifically, because in Crack the Wellness Code, we certainly bring together Western and Eastern therapies, and best practices, but it has to be science-based. And starting from Stanford to, any top institution, they have looked at neuroscience, they have looked at the brain, and they have explained how transcendental meditation helps. And in one or two of, or even more of Sachin's slide, he will explain, how it happens. So rest, I think, you can read on the screen his background. It is really formidable, and we are all here to now get mesmerized and relax and connect with Sachin for this session on pranayam and the breath. So over to you, Sachin. We can't wait any longer.
All right. Thank you, Sam. That was an overwhelming introduction. So thanks for kind words, and welcome to you all for joining this session. So most of you, with one or different possible ways, are well versed with pranayam and different meditation practices. So I thought of giving you a little bit more in-depth perspective of the science behind this. So I made some slides just to share, and then from slides, little bit information will go to the actual experience. So we'll do both in the session. And then obviously, I always like it to be interactive. So feel free to stop anytime, ask any questions. You can type any questions. So Som can then, put it for me, then we can answer them. So initially, I'll just go over the slide. We'll do some experiential activity, and then we'll open it to the official question and answer. That's the tentative idea. And we had a great head start with a very nice music. Also, this time is very important because it's a seasonal transition. From Ayurvedic perspective, it is a junction of two seasons called as Ritu Sandhi. And we are actually going from the summer to the fall season. And the summer is dominated by Pitta dosha, which is dominant of the fire and water. And we are going into the air and the space as element. And then we live in northern region. So Vata is a dominant dosha into this region. And then also because the season is also dominant into the Vata. So Vata affects everything which moves. So that includes our minds, our heart, our muscles, our joints, and then our blood, and obviously our breathing, because breathing is the movement. So understanding of that is very useful to well prepare for this season, because Vata season is also recommended to boost our immunity and create the balanced state of mind body uh, from the Ayurveda perspective. Just close your eyes.
Who nurses all like a good nurse, cure all diseases always, protects all like a mother, and does good like a father, and leads all along the path of rectitude, like a faithful friend, minister to the happiness of all of us. Om.
The logic behind pranayam, but we'll share it after in the email with you. So this is a rough sketch of what yoga looks like. So yoga is not practicing yoga on the mat, but it's actually a way of life. And it comes from the Sanskrit word called as yuja, which is the union of the lower self to the higher self, and different descriptions. So we use it as the unity of mind and body. It's divided into 8 limbs. And the first one is the external preparation. So Yamaniyam, Asan, Pranayam. So Yamaniyam are there the code of conducts and administrators. And the asana is the physical poses. Pranayam is the breathing techniques. And then the internal preparation, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So pratyahar is kind of uh, slowly getting the body stabilization, mind stabilization. Dharana is from withdrawal from the senses. Dhyana is kind of absorption where all activities are ceased. And samadhi is a perfect state of concentration. That's roughly what we will take it. So we'll be focusing more on the fourth one. Now, why they are called as 8 limbs and not 8 steps? Because Maharishi used to say that you cannot separate each of them from each other. Sometimes some people believe that you start from Yama and then go to Samadhi. It's not like that. They are all integral part of us. Like I have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, and the nose and the mouth. Same way, these are all built in together. So now suppose if I want to pull a table towards me, if I pull a leg, the whole table will come to me. So the same way, when we work with all of them in unity and integrity, things work out into the unison. So this is how the Yoga Ayurveda model looks like, that whatever we eat, our conduct becomes, and then our conduct creates the thoughts in our mind, and then the action, so called as pinda into the Sanskrit. So that diet is not just the diet for physical body, but also how we think. So the environment around us also has that kind of component to it. So what is prana? Then the prana is considered as life force, consciousness, and the life force where is the principle which governs the universe from yoga perspective. From the modern perspective, it's a bridge between mind and body, so which connects with our mind and body. So now any energy can be considered as prana. And then prana is with us from the moment we are born. So if it's awareness, so the moment we are born till we are in the matter, this energy stays with us. Now, prana is also considered as Brahman from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Now the prana is classified into 5 subcategories, which some of you are aware, some of maybe it's a new theme. But the main goal of this to show how it relates to our different body parts. So prana is the main energy, location of pranic energy into the thoracic part, and breathing is the process. Apana is the downward force, so that when we inhale, the breath goes inward, downward. So it works with elimination, sexual functions. Vana is distributed mainly into the limbs, so the peripheral circulation. Udana is upward force, like the vomiting, belching, sneezing, coughing, eyelids, vocal cords, they are connected with the same. And Samana is whole body integration, so that connects to gastric and abdominal function. So this is just to give you the idea how deep that whole process of breathing techniques is. And we will actually experience it after we just go over the presentation. We'll spend a good amount of time into these 5 limbs today, like 5 subcategories. Now, what is pranayam? So prana is life energy, and ayam is optimal mastery over the pranic energy. So how we achieve that is a simple way, that controlling inhalation and exhalation. So that is a simple thing which we normally do. So let's do the activity. Let's take a deep breath, close your eyes, and then just monitor your breath. So see what's happening. And then once we feel ready, so breathe in, so rubbing the palms together. Look at the palms on our eyes, pass it through whole of the face. Looking at the floor, open your eyes, close them. Second time, rubbing the palms, passing them through whole of the face, very, very slow. And then very gently open the eyes. So just by doing this, do you feel calm? So you can just raise your thumbs up if you do. You find any difference before and after? So what else, the next one? Anybody has any other experience? You can unmute and talk and then again mute back. How many people notice that their breath is into chest versus the belly? Anybody notice that? Okay, so how many notice that is there any sequence to the breathing, like when you breathe in and then you pause, when you breathe out and you pause? So let's do it with that modification. So let's close eyes again, relax the body, palms to the sky. And then this time when we breathe in, we pay attention if it's into the chest or belly. If it's into the chest, we bring it down to the belly. And when you breathe in, so you pause. As you breathe out, you pause. So let's do it for 3 breaths or so. And then once we feel ready, so breathe in, so slowly rubbing the palms together, passing them through whole of the face. Open your eyes, close them. And then one more time, rubbing the palms, pass it through whole of the face, very gently open the eyes. So the question is that anybody notice the difference between when we don't pause, when we breathe in and out, versus when we pause, when we breathe in and out, what happens? Or you feel no difference?
It takes more concentration to pause.
It takes more concentration to pause. Very nice. Thank you, Alan. What else? Anybody has any other observation?
Very relaxing. Very relaxing.
Very relaxing. So it creates a relaxation. What else? What it does to our mind, you think? Yes,
I was
Purna.
feeling before just without the pause, like from the chest. And
Yeah.
when I pause, I can notice my stomach, so from the abdomen.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And
Okay,
also, we have to concentrate on the breath when
you have to
you have
concentrate
to
on the
hold.
breath.
Yes.
Right. So you have to, means you create a awareness of breathing. Isn't that fascinating, you think? Just pausing changes as many things. It
Yeah.
creates awareness of what you're doing. You have to focus on what you're doing. It changes the dynamic what you're doing. Purnima, you're saying something?
When we breathe with our stomach, then we feel some burps are coming out. I don't know how.
So you feel like detox, like something you're getting rid of, you don't need. Yeah, that's a good idea. So it's all good. So nothing right and wrong into these, our experiences. So the main thing you notice that, so that's one of the wonderful blessing or a gift given by nature to us, that when we tune in our breath and when we pause it, it actually gives body the opportunity to create the connection. So what we talked about, does that make sense now? So why pranayama is a bridge? The moment I pause, can I do anything else? No, because I'm fully connected to myself. Second thing it does, it also, it stops mental activity. Now let's think of an example that you are in dark room and you think you saw a snake. And what's your first reaction to that response?
Scream.
Try to get away from it.
No, the scream is
Scream
like,
loudly.
try to, yeah, that's all right. But that's all second reactions. What's the first reaction when you say something? Or if you're really angry, what was the
Very
first reaction?
scary. Very scary.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Stop
what,
breathing. You stop breathing for a
you
moment,
stop
you know.
breathing. You hold breath. Who said that?
Yeah, I said, Baljit.
Oh, Baljit. Oh, wonderful. So Baljit said is the right answer. You first, maybe fight and flight is our mechanism, right? We learned it. But before I want to fight the snake or take the door saying I can't handle the snake, the first thing, we pause our breath. And what that pausing does, it brings us to the balanced state. Does that make sense? And once we come to the balanced state, we can decide what can we do the state of action in the process, right? So what an interesting thing that breathing is about. So now we'll understand just the yogic concept of this, so that how the Hatha Yoga Pradipika talks about the our life energy is still when the mind becomes still and the matter becomes energy. That means our physical existence become more into the consciousness, and then it's divided into four parts. So that is the inhalation, hold, exhalation, and then rest, right? So we'll not spend too much time on this. Um, from the Shiva Samhita perspective, there are four dimensions of the pranayam, which are quite interesting. That you begin, arambha means beginning. So when one becomes conscious and awakened with the breath, so as we discussed, then the second is called as ghata, where one is immersed and purified with the fire of pranayam. Then the third one is called as parichaya, means the awareness. So deep connection and knowledge of breath patterns resulting in intimate connection to and getting to know to oneself. And the fourth one is the sublimation, where it talks about all of our negative tendencies go away, and which makes sense because it's not just the traditional knowledge. You know, when we pause every activity, we look at the things from neutral perspective, we are able to see things clear, right? Because it's a simple idea. So now breath is one of the ways the body gets energy. So there is a lot of research which shows that yogis and athletes have higher lung capacity, and then those people who do pranayam, they do more air transaction, they also use more lung capacity. Ideally you're supposed to use only 1/10 of lung capacity unless you do some activity, and then pranayam helps us to energize each and every part of the lungs, because there are so many variety of practices which are available. And the modes of practical application of yogic practices, so one goes by force or discipline, that is called as Hatha Yoga. So a lot of people don't know what Hatha Yoga means. They think, oh, it's connected with sun and moon and all those type of things. But Hatha means really the strong discipline. And you know how hard it is to make the discipline. My grandfather told me, I asked him, how should one lead a healthy life? And he was saying, simple, 2 meals, 2 walks, 2 meditation. Can you do it? And I'm saying, yeah, that's so simple. I will do it. So now we do 1 walk, 1 meditation, 1 meal. We always struggle for the second ones. And that's what requires this discipline. And then the second one goes by the free form, which you go with ease, go with self-pace, you tune in with the laws of nature. And that's the teachings of the school from Vasishtha. So that there is a scripture called as Yoga Vasishtha, which talks in detail about not having the strict discipline, like not like robot, you wake up at this time, but you tune in and then you modify according to the season. And the way I learned to practice is you blend both. You have discipline by the clock, but you tune in the clock according to season and your body types and the mind types. So using the Ayurvedic base to it. And there is an old saying that no hatat, no balat. That means there is no force, there is no endurance of energy. And then the other one says by practice, one can cross all the obstacles. And that practice in spirituality, what we call it, sadhana. Now, breath and respiratory system. So we use that much stuff for breathing, which we don't know. So how it starts, there are voluntary and involuntary muscles for respiration. Then the nose, then the pharynx, the breathing apparatus like diaphragm, intercostal muscle, lungs. And then when we use the force exhalation, like we use, focus on the belly breath, then it involves abdominal muscles. So there are no lungs in the belly, but we use belly for the same. Then apical or the clavicular breathing, where the neck muscles and upper parts of the lungs are used. Mid-sectional breathing or the intercostal breathing, central part of the lungs. Or the basal breathing, where you use the diaphragmatic lower part of the lungs. And yogic breathing uses all of those different techniques, use all these different things. And the breath rates variability always happen with the age group. So the newborns breathe little faster, toddlers breathe little slower. And the physiological breathing variability happens among the genders, like male versus the female. Abdominothoracic means from the stomach to the chest or chest to the stomach. And for yogic breathing, we essentially focus on abdominal breathing. So anybody knows what's the average breathing rate? It's around 16 to 20 per minute. I always say in Silicon Valley, everybody breathes 32 per minute. And when we do pranayam, our goal is to bring the breath under 8 per minute. That's when we start gaining the physiological benefits. And that's what creates the deep rest. So far, everybody understood? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now, what are the physiological benefits of pranayam? So obviously the biggest one is the connection between mind body. It enhances neuromuscular integration. That means relaxation. Our body starts feeling relaxed, right? And we feel focused, better oxygenation. Obviously, better oxygenation means more nourishment to the body. Our body functions improve, like respiratory, circulatory system. And then when we learn to let the breath slow down, it starts giving rest to the heart muscle. It also slows down our metabolism. That means then our body needs for consumption of energy can be reduced or increased. Like fire breath increase the aerobic activity versus the alternate nostril, anulom vilom, creates a calming response. It also improves the digestion. It improves our moods and emotion. It creates sense of relaxation, calmness, positivity, sense of energization, lightness, physical body, mental, emotional levels, and so on. Like list is quite growing with the time because more and more experiments are done, more research is done. All this validates all this traditional information. So this is what happens when we do the transcendental meditation. There is natural rowing of the breath. So our breath slowly starts slowing down once you start getting into the mind-body cohesion, so that the responses are simple What you have to do for the thing? Nothing. It's natural, effortless, and it feels comforting. So then it shows you the benefits of different things. So the transcendental meditation, you see the benefit of deep rest, how it manifests, eyes closed, when our eyes are closed versus you are meditating. And then the basal skin resistance. So it's a measurement which is done to see how much the body is relaxed and respond to the stress. Respiratory rate is another one. And then the plasma lactate is another one. So you can see in all three parameters, the meditation supersedes everything. So now let's look at the spiritual perspective. Pranayam gives willpower to become a master of oneself, enhancement of flow of life energy, prana, or in Chinese medicine called it chi, removal of obstructions which impede the flow of prana, regulation of thoughts, desires, actions, cultivation of purpose of life. This is what the scriptures say. Now, pranayama removes the veil or illusion, the maya, from the mind and helps self-illumination. That's what says Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Pranayama is extraordinary austerity, says Mahatapas. Having mastered pranayama in Padmasana, one is ready to become a liberated soul. Padmasana is a lotus pose, cross-legged, says the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. And pranayama removes fear of death, says the Shiva Samhita. And then it also helps to cleanse the energy channels like nadis and chakras. So these are all compiled different versions from our different yoga texts. Sadhana, so how the practice becomes sadhana, because there is awareness. So you're doing the practice with awareness of the yourself and then also universal cosmic awareness. You're using creative intelligence, means your own self, your own awareness, and you expand your awareness, use the creativity, and you follow the law of nature, the creation, maintenance, and destruction, and then prepares yourself for samadhi, because the breath is one of the bridge between mind and body. And the simple message I found is somewhere, which is very simple, but this gives the message that make sure it's connected before you start talking. So you see what it means. Just the humor. So let's go to the next one. And this is the insight that when we see strength into the problems, we stop resisting stress and use it as an impetus for eustress or a positive stress. And when we learn to evoke the stay and play rather than the fight and flight response, one can live optimal life. And that's the beginning of first chapter of your book of life. So everybody wants to know, is there any book I can have which I can read and find all the answers? And they say that the search engines, the internet doesn't give you answers to all the questions you have, because there are some questions you can only find the answers within yourself. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now that was just a quick review for you to see there is quite in-depth understanding and logic behind pranayam. So obviously there are a lot of myths about pranayam, and they're not true. I always ask people that if we are born with the breath and we cease to be alive with the breath, how breath can be our enemy? People say, oh, if you do pranayam wrong way, it will harm you and things like that. Obviously, if you do some random techniques like Kapalbhati without proper guidance, it will not be as fruitful because it will not give you the right results. But then when you focus and you take time and brew into the technique and practice it on a regular basis, there is no reason that it will have any counter effects. Does that make sense also? So now going further into this, when we look in the perspective, you notice that what we have to do is very simple, practice the pause. And that's the key factor for all breathing techniques. There are some other variations which we can't discuss all in one because it's a wide array of tools and techniques offered from the yogic side. Then we also differ, they are called as matras or the ratios. that how much time to inhale, how much time to hold, how much time to exhale, how much to rest. For each individual can be different. So when we go into the depth, so if you are the person who has strong Vata body, you will do a different version. If you have strong Vata mind, you will do something different. If you have Vata imbalance, then you will do something different. So then in this type of things, what we do is we just do the generic versions, which everybody can do at any given time. So let's go back to our experiential practice now. So let's close eyes and relax the body. Make our chin parallel to the ground. Close your eyes. And when we practice yoga, we smile. Just listen to your breath as you breathe in, you pause. And then as you breathe out, you also pause. So now take a deep breath. So slowly rubbing the palms together, locating both the palms on your eyes, pass it through whole of the face. Looking at the floor, open your eyes, close them. And then one more time, rubbing the palms, passing them through whole of the face, very, very slow. And then very gently open the eyes. So how you feel?
Relaxed.
Feeling much better.
Much better. So we'll go now to the 5 levels of pranic breathing. And
we
it's
have
very
to breathe
simple.
in stomach also, okay, only on the lungs.
No, the stomach, there is no lung into the stomach, but when we use the abdominal muscles, we get more control over the mechanism of the breathing.
Okay. Yeah.
So how to do that? So we'll facilitate with a simple process. So the one thing is that wherever my palms are, my focus goes, right? Many times we sit or stand and we don't know what to do with the palms, right? You're saying, should I put it here? Should I put it there? What to do? Then it becomes quite interesting. So when we move the palms in certain direction, somehow our breath follows our palms, and that's how the mudras came into the practice, the mental focus. So I'm going to hold it little higher so you can see, but your palm can be in your lap, the lower one. So you choose which one you like to do. Mine is left is in the bottom, right one on the top. And then as I'm going to breathe in, I lift the palm up. As I breathe out, I bring the palm down. Right? So now there are no lungs in the palm, but we are bringing the awareness into the palm to like control our breath. Right? So now there are 5 types of the prana which we discussed before. I will revise it quickly for those who may not remember. That one is the breath comes in the body, and so it's a up and down movement. Second is the lung fills up, so the side movement, and then the forward and backward. So total these 5. So we'll use them one by one into 3 steps. So the first movement is up and down. Very good. Second movement is we go sideways. So my hands are disappearing into the screen, but you just go sideways as far you can go. And then As you breathe out, you bring them back. And then you go forward, backward, as forward you can go, and then bring them back into the center. And then you come back, right? So we created a module. So the first movement, first breath is up and down. Second breath is sideways. And the third breath is forward, backward. Now you'll see what's the big deal. That sounds so easy. But now see what happens. If I decide to do 3 sets, so one set is of 3 cycles, right? Of 5 breaths, dimensional breaths. So now in that process, when I do the cycle, what will happen? If one thought comes in my mind and if I'm distracted, I might forget, where was I? Like, is this third or? So you have to really be present with the theme. And then let's see what happens, because experience is worth a million words. So let's start. So breathe in and then go up. Now pause it, don't forget to pause.
Oh.
And then breathe out. Okay, the second one, go to the side. Pause it. And then breathe out. And then come back. Then breathe in, so go forward. And then slowly, as you breathe out, so you come back. And then go back to the first one. So up and down. So breathe in. So go up as we breathe out. And then we pause. We breathe in, we go sideways. As we breathe out, then come back. We go forward, go at your pace. So finish your own pace at the same time. So coming back is the body. Come back to the center. Again, breathe in, so up and down. And then breathe out, and then pause. And then again, breathe in, go sideways. And then breathe out, and then pause. Again, breathe in, so go forward. And then breathe out, and then pause. So close your eyes. So tune in, what was your experience? And maybe 1 or 2 people can share what was your experience if you would like. Once you feel ready, rubbing the palms, pass it through whole of the face, open your eyes, close them. And then one more time, rubbing the palms, passing them through whole of the face, very, very slow, gently open the eyes.
I was totally concentrating on the process itself, like when I go up, where the hands go, where the arms go, and that's all,
So you can't think of anything else. Yeah, exactly. So you're fully immersed into the mechanism, and your mind is flowing with the movement, and no distraction, right? And it's so simple. And we only did like 9 breaths. Can you imagine? Because we did 3 sets, and it took us how much time? Anybody knows? Almost 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes to do that. So as you see that into the small, the time equation also then disappears. Suddenly our mind is at slow pace, our bodies are relaxed, and we are enjoying the process, and we are in tune with what's happening. We are not detached from it. Makes sense? It's worse opposite than I'm texting, I'm looking at my email, I'm watching television and eating my breakfast. Right? The multitasking versus in yoga, there is only one task, is to be yourself. Anybody else want to share anything?
Yes.
Just one more. Yeah, go ahead.
Breathe become fast and mind is working continuously. I don't know how.
Your mind is still working continuously. So that means you have to do.
Breathe is working fast now, even now.
Yeah, even now. Yeah. So that means you need more time and more cycles to get to the calmer state. So the awareness came to your mind that your mind is always working fast like this, but you are not aware of that. And because you pause, at least you are able to see how fast it is. And
Yeah.
maybe it's not something good for us. And maybe we need a pause every 4 hours or every couple of hours to come back to that state of balance and calm state and feel rested, so that my mind is not my enemy, but is my friend. Okay.
Should we have to take pause more?
Yeah, it happens. That's the part of natural yogic practice. More you do the yoga practice, more you will come to that equation automatically.
I think I do
Okay,
exercise more. That makes me reason.
yes, exactly. Kaushalya,
So I
the
should
last.
use. I want
In-
one thing.
Yeah. So let's wait. I will answer it maybe in the end. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In 3 minutes, I feel so good. And
Yeah.
I had the headache before, and my
Yeah.
headache is gone. It's
Yeah.
3 minutes did tremendous things to me. I'm glad
So
I joined it late, but I get benefit for that. Thank you.
wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
Sachin, I didn't
So
close my eyes. So I didn't find very effective.
right.
Because I
So
didn't
that's
close my
another thing.
eyes.
Right. So there is a saying that you close your eyes and open your mind. So
That
that
was the
sometimes when our eyes are open, our mind still keeps engaged into the activities. But it's like 3 cycles is not a lot of cycles. So maybe when you do like 5 cycles, or maybe you do 7 of those, you might see the benefit to it, because it differs individually. Like somebody is under stress, it might take them longer. And if somebody is already practice yoga, it may not be that longer, something like that. Okay.
Dr. Sachin, can I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
I see the whole thing.
Yeah.
Number one, it's highly relaxing.
Right.
Number two, highly energizing.
Right.
Number three,
Right.
no distraction. If one
Right.
is really concentrating on what we are doing, no
Right.
distraction. And finally, I think it leads to total peace of mind.
Peace of
These
mind.
are the 4 ways in which I would like to summarize the entire program. So what we
Right.
need is basically ongoing continuous practice.
Right.
It cannot go in one way. So we have to
Right.
be doing practice and practice. And I'm
Right.
sure all those 4 parameters which I'm
Right.
summarizing: high relaxation, high energizing, no distraction, and total peace of mind, I think we will be able to get. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very good summarization of all the program. Yes, Malvinder, last one.
So we can do this for meditation.
Yeah, of
Then-
course, it can be a foundation for your meditation.
Yeah, I think this is very good, because then we are focusing, we are not distracted. We will be focusing on the breath
Right.
and
Right.
pausing. So this will
Right.
be easy for meditation.
Right.
This will make meditation easier.
Right. Wonderful.
Hello,
Okay.
Sachin, how many times we should do this?
The cycles, like I said, it depends on how much you find the benefits. So suppose usually they go 3, 5, 7, 8, 11. So there are different cycles for different people, but no specific number. You choose whatever works for you, and there is no harm to it.
We can do early in the morning and night time also.
Yeah, this technique you can do even after eating lunch, or there is no restriction. Some pranayams you can't do because they require a lot of belly movement, like Bhastrika or the Kapalbhati. But for this one, they are gentle balancing techniques. Okay, so
can I
Deepika.
ask? Yeah, can I ask? Okay. You know, like in the morning, you show us like a 8, 8, and 8, like a 8 from left, right, like breathing exercise. So we have to do this and this. We can do both.
Yeah, totally. Because it's like you can either merge those things, and this one is just a primer. It's like primer is like it's a prelude. Like once you start this process, your mind body is fully ready, And then you can do a variety of techniques as a second option too, once you get our mind body together. So suppose even if I sit like how Purnima was saying, that I notice my mind is still not fully calm. My mind is still fully active. And there must be, I need a little bit more practice. So suppose when I do 5 of these sets, my mind calms down. For somebody with 3 sets, my mind calms down. So it's all how we are in the moment. So we don't have to be too choosy about for these. Certain techniques require a lot more focus. And that's why I chose this simple modification, which can be practiced by anybody, can be practiced at any time, and is so simple to practice.
Yeah.
So we are almost to the, hold on. We are almost to the end of our time. So I will wrap it up and then we can take maybe few questions before we call it off. So let's close eyes. I want to make you aware of one more simple process. When we breathe in, there is a sound which comes as sa. And when we exhale, the sound comes like hum. Now these two sounds together combined becomes a word called as sandhi, called as soham. So soham means I am he, I am the wider universe. So the idea behind it that every breath of us is chanting this mantra, the soham. That's what yoga says. So you don't need to know mantras and anything fancy. You just need to be aware of what's happening on our body. Create a bridge between mind and body. Tune in this mechanism that our breath is chanting the mantra for us every breath we take. There is another idea that every time we breathe in, the air comes in, it's cooler. Every time we breathe out, the air is warmer. There is an old traditional story, that's how I'll end it, so that the creator of the universe is known as Brahman, and his son was the sage Vishwamitra, who wanted to become the Brahmarshi. Brahmarshi means the best sage in the world, universe. He went to his father and saying, give me a mantra to become Brahmarshi, I'll do it. So he said, go and chant Soham for 12 years, you will become Brahmarshi. So he went back to Himalaya, sat in a cave. 12 years passed by, nothing happened. So I got curious, saying, my father told me something which won't work. So when he was coming out, there is another character in the scriptures called as Narada, who is always giving information, broadcasting things to each other and create problems, confusions, and enjoy them. So he said to the Vishwamitra that your father gave the same mantra to a sage in the forest and he's transformed. So I don't know why it didn't transform you, but it did transform to this sage. So he said, let me go and visit him. So he went to visit the sage and looks like the sage is in meditation. There are children playing, saying, looks like he got married, he's a householder. The ashram looks beautiful, sage looks powerful. So he waited for sage to finish meditation. When his eyes opened, he said, what's the secret? Like, looks like you really transform yourself. And he said, the secret is simple, just like you. 12 days I was also sitting under this tree chanting the Soham Soham. And then I came to the realization that my breath is doing it for me. What I need is just the awareness. And from then I don't have to do anything because the 24/7, I am into samadhi, I am into the state of full awareness. And that's how I transform myself. So that's the key part of it. We do a lot of fancy things. We do a lot of ideas and we are very passionate about them. And then we lose out the core roots of the knowledge, where it comes from. And why we practice, what we practice, what might be the pros and cons, what are the benefits, how much time can we dedicate. That's why the Buddha said that if you don't have 10 minutes, 20 minutes time for yourself, you need 2 hours of meditation. So that if you don't have time for yourself, then what in your life matters to you, right? That's the question yoga asks to us. There are 40 minutes in 24 hours. Out of that, we want to spend 40 minutes for ourselves. And the whole life, if we live 100, is 5,250 weeks miracle. So if we are 50 years old, we have only 2,500 weeks left if we live 100. So every day counts and every moment counts. So the pranayam is a reminder for us that the mentality nowadays is now. Everything I want is now. And what we want to change it is that the now is in the present, not in demand. So we're not asking for anything. We want to just be in the present and observe what's happening. And then we reach to the state of deep level of consciousness. So that's where I want to stop. Let's end with a silent 3 breaths. And we will use another technique. So we breathe in through nose, but we exhale through mouth. And it's a kriya, it's a purification technique. Use your belly when you exhale. And then again, breathe in, open the mouth, and then exhale. So breathe in, and then open the mouth, and then exhale. And then once you feel ready, rubbing the palms together, locating the palms on our eyes, pass it through whole of the face, looking at the floor, open your eyes, close them. And then one more time, rubbing the palms, passing them through whole of the face, very, very slow. And then very gradually, open your eyes. So that brings us to the official end of this session. So we are already 7 minutes above our designated time. But if you have few questions, we can try to answer them.
So should you do pranayam before asanas or after asanas or before meditation?
So pranayam is always useful either way. So either you do it before asana or after asana. By sequence, if you look at it, it's always good to practice it after little bit asana. And you always start with, yoga starts with calming. You sit in the place and just observe your mind-body state. And then you start little movement, do the breath, connect mind and body together, go into the deep rest and end with the resting. Okay. And the key part, the successful practice, always like described by Dr. Ahuja, was just blend of all these things. You feel calm, your mind is in balance, you have less thoughts, you feel renovated, you feel light, and you feel very awake and alert. And that's why the transcendental meditation, what we call it, is a process of restful alertness. So you're alert of everything, but same time you're at a state of deep rest.
So when should you do Kapalbhati and the more vigorous breathing?
So those are individuals. So those things, they are based on body types, different seasons. So that's why mindless practices are not useful. You have to learn it proper through the mentors who know what the techniques are.